So how is it that we are one and individuals at the same time?
Well, I covered this a little bit last week, that the life force, we all sit here today in different packages. You know, we're dressed differently, our bodies are different, our personalities are different, we're unique individuals. And if you go within the body, you find cells, and those cells are very unique to you and you alone. Beneath the cells, they're made up of molecules, and the molecules are made up of atoms. And the atoms have an energy with them. They're 95% energy. And that energy, that spirit within the atom, within each and every one of us, is exactly the same in you as it is in me. When we go to that spiritual level, there is a oneness between us, where my love is your love and all love is our love. And my life is your life and all of life is our life. All of it God-given. So we have the great blessing of being individuals, being able to go into the world and live our lives in what a sad, mundane world it would be if we were all the same. I mean, if I was sitting here talking to 700 dukes, 700 dukes would be dozing off. But the fact that we're individuals, yet we are one with God, is it's difficult to grasp. You can't define it, but you can feel it. When Jerome was singing earlier, all of us became one listener. And we forgot about our individuality, we forgot about our uniqueness, we forgot about our problems that we had, and we were just one together in that experience. And that's one of the greatest glories of life, that we can merge together with a sense of oneness and yet move out and follow our individual paths.
Well, this is great because you were at the village all week. Has the mission or message of unity changed over the years, and how?
Oh, yes, it has. It's changed greatly. One of the biggest problems I have with fundamental religion, and this isn't a complaint or criticism, but it led me to find something else, is that much of their belief system is based on information and perceptions that are 6,000 years old. And a lot of those perceptions haven't changed. There's still one God. That hasn't changed. But as science has moved forward and technology has moved forward and psychology has moved forward, we've come to discover much, much more about who we are and the universe that we live in. Charles Fillmore, one of our founders, once gave a lecture, and somebody in the audience raised their hand and said, "No, wait a minute, I was here 2 weeks ago, and you answered that question totally differently." And he said, "In 2 weeks, I have learned differently." And unity is an evolving message. We can't get stuck, and there's even a struggle within the unity movement that everything should end. When Charles Fillmore died at in 1947, that we should hold to what he believed. If he would have lived, unity would have continued to progress like it is. But if you think of all the things that have happened since 1947, I mean, with the Hubble telescope and the incredible microscopic abilities we have to explore the body and the cures, any message has to have a foundation of traditional beliefs that are unchangeable, yet at the same time be able to move and to grow and to discover more things about our world and who we are.
This may be our last one, but what a rich group of people. I mean, these questions, this is just amazing. This is such depth. So, in the 20 years, this must be you, that you've been here at Unity Temple on the Plaza, how has it been to see how lives have changed during that time? People's jobs, their kids, the college, the membership of the church?
It's been absolutely incredible. Many of you remember, because you were here 20 years ago, and it was 25 years ago that I was secretary here, and at that time, women were frowned on for wearing pants to church. The ushers could only be male. There were no cell phones. There was no internet. The communication was much slower. You know, we depended on letters, and that is one thing that has allowed us to expand our rate of knowing. We learn much faster today than we did then. But another thing is the spirituality. how that has advanced in the last 20 years. And I see science and spirituality from both sides building this bridge where someday they'll be looked on as one and the same. Science is not the enemy. If it disproves certain beliefs we have, then we have to say, well, great, what is the spiritual essence of that? Or spirituality holds on to faith, which science can't recognize because there's no physical evidence of it, or it holds on to spirit or to love. That is great, but science is also discovering that. They're discovering that 95% of this universe is made up of something that we don't know what it is. And as they discover that, I feel like they're discovering God. You know, that God is this everywhere present spirit, power, life force, and science is moving towards admitting that and saying, yes, that we can't detect all that there is, but spirituality has a real strong influence on what that can be, and they call it God. So we'll do one more question, then we'll move into meditation. What are you doing?
Well, there was a "What is love," which is great too.
What is that one?
Well, this one, I think we got one here. How do you respond to those who say unity is a cult? But you're a great cult leader.
Well,
right?
I would say, what's a cult? You know, when I looked up at the balcony earlier, I forgot that the seats had been taken out, and there's this whole group hovered over there, and I said, God, is that a cult that's building up out there? But you know, in my understanding, a cult is something that overpowers people. It dictates that they follow a particular line of thought and line of action. And unity is exactly the opposite. It empowers people. You'll never hear anything from this stage or from that lecture that overpowers your free will, overpowers your freedom of choice, overpowers your right to choose how you think. It's all about empowering you. I mean, go within and find your answers. And if there's disagreements in this church about certain things that are said, I applaud that. Because anytime there's a disagreement, it allows us to search out perhaps a higher understanding that both sides can agree upon. So a cult, we are not. A wonderful spiritual source of empowerment, we are. Okay. We will now move into meditation, and thank you very much for being a kind audience.